had to kill him. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Kelly.
My daddy was in the Navy, and he said that when I was grown up that I could join. And now I am grown up, so I want to.
After his parents divorced, Gene Stockwell spent his childhood in front of a camera, churning out film after film, while other children his age were on playgrounds. What adoring audiences didn't know is that he was emotionally drained and falling into deep depression as he was working. In 1948, Stockwell starred in The Boy with Green Hair. The film's anti-war message touched off an uproar, but Stockwell survived the controversy. Then, as soon as he finished his studio contract, he dropped out of the business and wandered around the country doing odd jobs for about 5 years.
Oh, Mary, get the hell out of here!
Don't worry, I'll leave your change on.
When he decided to return to Hollywood, he had to take whatever roles he could get just to make ends meet. Stockwell has dropped out a few times, but acting keeps drawing him back.
What the hell happened to you anyway? You look like 40 miles of rough road.
When he could get acting jobs, he took minor roles in big movies. A shady lawyer in To Live and Die in L.A., a thief in Beverly Hills Cop 2, and the gangster Tony the Tiger in Married to the Mob, for which he got his only Academy Award nomination. Stockwell married Joy Marchenko in 1982. They have 2 children, and they live in Los Angeles.
The only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time.
But it wasn't until he made a quantum leap into series television that Stockwell found the stability he's been looking for in his career. Our correspondent Sandy Newton spoke with him about his long struggle to find peace of mind in Hollywood.
We, of course, look at the films of yours, the early films, and we assumed you all had these great, charmed lives, and you were so happy, but you said you were miserable.
Anyone that had the experience that I did would agree that there were inordinate pressures. There are very few lines of work, of endeavor, where children are permitted to work today. Acting is one of the very few. For some reason, people don't seem to realize that it is work. And in those days, we worked 6 days a week. We worked Saturdays, too.
And you did, I think, 22 films in 7 years?
I think I was at the MGM for 9 years. And I think I did 16, 17 films, something like that.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
But you said your mom was really the one who kind of stabilized you or sort of kept you...
Yeah, she was great. Yeah.
Did you ever go to her and say, Mom, I want to quit?
Yeah, I did. And she was dealing with a reality like anyone else. And the reality was that she was a single mother, and I was under contract. So there was, legally speaking, there wasn't any way out. So there wasn't much she could do, and she could just try and make it the best that she could for me, and she did.
In those days, the studios were so powerful and so controlling.
Yes, I felt control. I was aware that when I was going to do a film, that film was assigned to me, and I had no choice. And I didn't like that. And furthermore, there was a process then called loaning contract players, where one studio would loan a player to another studio to do their movie, and then, of course, be returned. Made me feel, at a very young age, like a piece of meat, and I resented it. And I celebrated as during that period of time when the studio system crumbled. In my little world, I celebrate just like the world is celebrating over the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Communist Empire.
So you dropped out the first time from Hollywood when you were just a teenager, 16 years old? You had enough?
I understood that then I had some decision-making power in my life, and I could stop working if I wished. The minute I graduated high school, I stopped. And I went off by myself because, for a number of years, because I desperately needed anonymity.
What did your mom think about you leaving like that?
I think she realized that I had to do that.
Did she let you go with her blessing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you find on that quest?
Oh, well, I found out a lot of things. That anonymity is a very comfortable feeling, and it's fine, and that it's also a pretty difficult world to live in.
Were you a child of the 60s?
I became a beatnik and a hippie.
Were you into drugs then?
Well, I smoked some pot and tried, yeah, you know, misbehaved. But, I mean, it wasn't anything that damaged my health, and I had a pretty damn good time, to tell you the truth. I mean, I had a great time. In retrospect, it seemed to be a type of living childhood that perhaps because I'd been working, I didn't experience as fully as I might have wanted to when I was in my rich childhood.
So what made you decide to go back to Hollywood and try it again?
Well, it became clear after a certain time that I didn't have any training to go into any other sort of career and couldn't figure out anything else to do. That was the one thing I knew how to do.
Did you miss it, though? Because it doesn't sound, no?
No, I didn't miss it. In fact, I went back into it with a great deal of trepidation. But then when I got into my late 30s and 40s, that was resolved, and I began to enjoy it and began to appreciate my own work. And then, of course, that coincided right with the time when I couldn't get any work, right? I mean, isn't that the case? That's the way it happened. Yeah, that coincided with a very long, lean period of about 12, 13 years, where, as the saying goes in this business, I couldn't get arrested.
And do you think that's because of the stigma, having been a child actor, and they just thought of...
No, I don't think so. No, I have gone over this in my mind. I've spent many man hours trying to figure out the mystery of why I had trouble finding work during that period, and I have never been able to figure it out. I even went to people that I knew in the business, whether they were producers, some publicists, other actors, and I asked them, why do I hear someone say, oh, I heard these producers say they were looking for a Dean Stockwell type? And I'm sitting there on unemployment.
Now you've got a hit series on the air. When you look over your life, can you believe that you're here, doing this now?
I always felt that I had a unique ability, and that if given the opportunity, I could do well at it, and that I could be a relatively happy individual. I always knew that was a possibility. It seemed like it would never happen, but I always considered that it was a possibility, and now it's happening, so I can believe it.
The environment is something that you're very, very committed to.
Yes. Now that political changes have been so dramatic in the world, and the so-called communist threat has dissipated so dramatically, now is the time for our leadership, in conjunction with the leadership of the other major nations of the world, to make the priority the survival of the planet.
How did you get so impassioned about the environment?
Well, by witnessing the deterioration of the environment, of the world, of where I live, of the sky, of everything in my own lifetime. It's happened in my lifetime.
Does being a father have anything to do with it?
It has a great deal to do with it. I mean, it stimulates one to action, hopefully, to try and do something about it so that the children are inheriting a fit environment to live in.
You're not going to disappear on us again, are you?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to. The next time I drop out, I'll be dropping dead.
Bit this ground to an environmental halt. My first guest stars in the hit TV series Quantum Leap. Also apropos of today is an active environmentalist. Please welcome Dean Stockwell. Dean. Dean, I hope you don't mind if I pass on the showbiz gibberish for a second. I don't like to get between a man and his cause. Gibberish. I know you're an environmentalist, and...
Earth Day.
Yeah, so let's talk about the environment a little. You were kind of an environmentalist before it became vogue. What is this now?
This is a...
ultraviolet sensometer.
Yeah, this is a little sensometer by Optaware in Syracuse, New York. And you take this out in the sunlight and hold it up, and it will register how many UVB rays are coming through. And my wife and I always had these. We give them out to friends. We take the kids out and hold this up, and if it turns gray and then medium and then dark gray, they don't go out in the sun.
Really?
Yeah, and this is nice. It's real. You can feel it, because the thing with the ozone layer, which is what I'm concerned with, is that it's so abstract because it's up in the stratosphere and people don't have it next to them, and it's not a reality. But something like this measures it, and you know it's real. And
Unfortunately, it's real
NASA has
plastic.
told us
Is
it's real plastic.
Biodegrade, or?
I don't know if it'll biodegrade, but it'll keep it.
Just a little apprehensive about these taking over our planet, you know. But it is plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's plastic. We've got a lot of plastic in the world, too.
I'm a little worried about
get rid of all the plastic.
No, we can't. Though some people take this too far. I saw a thing on some news show where there are people who literally feel they're, like, allergic to the world. Have you seen these poor bastards? They go out, they live in homes, they won't ever go out, and I guess...
Well, I mean, that's taking something
Yeah,
really
to the
to
craziest
get psychological and to extremes. But there's no getting away from the fact that we have an extreme situation.
Yeah.
And with the ozone layer, that's one example, and maybe the most critical example that we got.
Okay, paint me a reasonably cataclysmic picture of what happens if we don't rectify the ozone situation in the next generation.
Well,
you just can't go outside.
The worst case scenario, no, it can get heavier than that. Already we have a great increase in skin cancers and cataracts and reduction in the immune systems from the UVBs that are coming through because of the reduction in the ozone layer. Now, the worst case scenario is the damage that can be done to the plankton, the photoplankton, which lives on the surface of the oceans of the world and is the first step in the food chain of the planet.
Okay, that goes, and what goes next?
That goes, well, then the first step in the food chain is gone for the entire ocean. The ocean goes next, and you can take it from there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
And we're all
bad.
real thin.
And we're all real thin. We're in deep trouble. And another thing with it, it's a lot of people think it's a controversial issue, but it isn't anymore. The evidence is in, and the people distributing the evidence are NASA. It's not some weird fringe group, and it's not even a group of private institutions or scientists. This is NASA evidence.
I'm not sure I believe the general population believes it's controversial. I think they believe it.
There are groups that try to promote the idea that it's controversial in order to inhibit action being taken. Yeah.
Well, I think people believe, but they get hit with so much now. It seems like everything.
Sorry, can't help it. There is so much. We've been so negligent for so long. We've got so much. We've got all these problems, but we got to deal with them. You know, life ain't easy anymore. And the problem is it's going to be harder and harder for the children and for their children. I went out in the sun when I was a kid. It was a main part of my childhood, a beauty of my childhood. And my children have to stay out of it as much as possible.
So we got to start now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about showbiz after this, right, with Dean Stockwell. We'll be right back, folks, after this commercial.
Doing the best I can. We're back with Dean Stockwell.
We're back. Dean Stockwell. Okay, now tell us what... No, I don't want to tell you quickly. You don't want to talk about showbiz. Talk about this.
Okay.
We're button heads, and I want to talk about
It's
quantum.
Earth Day, all right?
Yeah, okay.
We know Quantum Leap is a wonderful show. I love it, and I'm proud of it.
Okay.
That's fine. I would be derelict if I didn't mention what the people in the audience, people in the television audience, what you as individuals can do about this problem with the ozone layer. And people don't know, so I've got to tell them. Everybody has a car, just about. Everybody's got a refrigerator. In the car, in your own car, there are these things, CFCs, that go up and break up the ozone layer. It's in Freon. That's one of the main culprits is Freon. Also in your refrigerator. You've got to make sure when you get work done on the car, on the engine, or on the AC of the car, that the garage that you take it to has a recycling machine. We've got a picture of that if you want to look at it. It's a real machine. Recycles the Freon and doesn't vent it. In 1995, it's going to be against the law to vent anymore. But till then, more and more goes up, more and more goes up. And in 1993, everyone will have to have one of these machines that services cars and refrigerators to recycle. But it's not 1993 yet, so you have to make sure where you take your car has one of these machines.
Does it only come in blue?
No, that's the red one. What's that, a red one?
Yeah, that's a red one.
That's a red
My
one.
eyes are burnt out.
Little
The ozone hole.
Purple style. And we have an outfit called SOS, Save Our Skies, that works with Citizens for a Better Environment, where people can get grants up to $500 to help them buy one of these machines before they have to by law in 1993. And before then, the people in the television audience, through your Lions Club, Kiwanis Club, and this and that, you can get together and raise the money to buy one of these machines for your landfill so that the cars and refrigerators dumped there don't release the CFCs. We can't release this stuff anymore. We'll put the address of Citizens for a Better Environment up on the screen there.
Now, what about, now, this is a pretty direct man to the people plea here, but what's your show do about it? Does your show adhere to these principles, or do you butt heads with those people?
Well, I've been butting heads. I mean,
why? What goes on there that you don't agree with?
It's not that it's not what I don't agree with. It's just they found difficulty in writing a quantum leap script centering on environmental issues. I have been striving for 3.5 years to get a show exclusively centered around an environmental issue. I hope next season, because we're picked up for another 22, that they will finally come through, and they have said they would. The best I've been able to do up to now is put in ad-libs here and there about this and that, and I've succeeded in doing that.
I can't believe it. You just ought to take a walk. Just don't show up one day. Well, the people. You know, right up there in aisle 3, I have a little landfill of my own up there. You see, a lot of the people look very disgruntled. They're right near my landfill. But, all right, so we have that address one last time. This is Dean Stockwell, environmental champion. And can we put that address up one last time? Citizens for Better Environment, SOS Project 122. I guess we can talk about the show some other time. I like your show. I'd like to talk about that, too. Next time you come on, can we talk about that?
I'd love to, sure, great.
Yeah?
All right.
Stockwell, you're an animal.
All
right, brother. Take care. Be right back with comedian Carl LeBeau right after this.
Always so hectic.
Working on a 1-hour weekly television show keeps Dean Stockwell so busy that he has to turn down some film roles. But Stockwell really doesn't need the extra work. Not bad for a guy who less than 10 years ago was barely making ends meet.
I figured it out one time that from about 1967, 68 until 1982, I averaged about $10,000 a year.
Then came 1984's Paris, Texas. Suddenly, Stockwell, who had become a child star in the 40s and a has-been in the 60s, was busier than ever, even closing out the 80s with an Oscar nomination for his role in Married to the Mob. So why would an actor in so much demand tie himself up with a TV series?
I had never done a weekly series, but that doesn't mean I didn't want to. If I had been offered a series in 1975, I would have jumped at it. But up until 1988, even 89, I didn't have any, I was told, doesn't have any TV cue. But once I got hot in films, all of a sudden I have TV cue.
Of course, Stockwell would choose a role that even he has trouble describing.
I say that I'm a hologram in it, and they say, what's that? And I try to explain what a hologram is, and then how it figures into the show, and how it enables me to go back into the past. But all I can say is you watch it. Watch the show, and you'll see.
With Quantum Leap's ratings holding their own, its star can sit back and enjoy his success with another amazing comeback story.
Dennis Hopper's your best friend. Both of you have made these incredible comebacks. Do you two ever get together, look at each other, and go, this is nuts?
Every time there's that moment, inevitably, where we look at each other, we go, wow. It's unbelievable.
Now, he's not resting on his laurels. In addition to his small screen roles, Dean Stockwell will be seen on the big screen in 3 films between now and the end of the year. Bill Tush, CNN Entertainment News, New York.
Quantum Leap. Critics call it one of the freshest shows. An absorbing, satisfying hour.
You're a black man in the South.
An intelligent, entertaining adventure. A Quantum Leap for prime time. See for yourself what the critics have seen. Take the Quantum Leap Wednesday. And critics call it impressive and charming. A Quantum Leap for prime time. Take the Quantum Leap
Wednesday. Sees Quantum Leap had a quantum leap in the ratings this week. The time travel fantasy show won its time period for the first time last Wednesday, beating China Beach and Wise Guy. This is Dennis Michael with the Hollywood Minute.
much, folks. Well, as a very young man in show business, he was propelled to stardom as the boy with green hair. Now he's being propelled through time in the hit TV series Quantum Leap. Please help me welcome Mr. Dean Stockwell. Oh, Dean. Thanks for coming. Hey, how about that boy of mine?
It's kind of hard to come out and follow Pete. I'm telling you, he's beautiful. He's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much.
Oof. That's your oldest? Do you have another one?
We have a little Mary who's 7 months.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. I have little ones, too, 4 and 6.
It's great being a dad, isn't it?
Oh, God, it's tremendous. It really is. It's heavy and exhilarating and profound and beautiful. It's the best.
Now, what will you do on Father's Day?
I hadn't thought about it.
Will they bring you special presents?
Gee, that'd be nice. It would be nice.
Because, Peter, you better bring some for me and Dean as well, all right? Peter? Apparently he's off talking to his agent from William Morris. Now, Dean, you got started really young as well. Not quite as young as Peter.
Not quite as young as Peter. I was 6 when I started. And now I'm in my late teens. No, it was a long time ago. Let's put it that way.
Did I read somewhere that by the time you were 15, you'd been in something like 20 different motion
Not
pictures?
quite that. Maybe by the time I was 16, I'd been in, I think, 16. Something like that.
1 per year.
Yeah.
As an average.
Yeah.
And you're the only fellow I've ever met who can make the claim that their father was the voice of Prince Charming in Snow White.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, yeah. Yeah, interesting, eh?
Did you tell the other kids in the neighborhood that? Oh, your dad may be a banker, but my dad, Prince Charming.
No, I didn't tell him, and I can't sing a lick. But that's okay.
Well, now you're in the middle of a big hit on NBC, Quantum Leap. Were you surprised it took off the way it did?
Well, the way it's developed, it hasn't been surprising because it started with low ratings and then has very, very slowly, steadily climbed. So it's been gradual rather than surprising, but I'm very pleased by it because I love the show and I'm proud of it. I think it's very original and creative, and I'm happy doing it. And we're picked up for 22 more, and on the 25th of this month, the NBC is putting on, Brandon Tartikoff is putting on a special Quantum Leap week where the show is going to be on all week, every night at 10.
That's great.
Yeah.
So by Friday, we're going to be sick of you.
Oh, you'd be tired of it, yeah.
Actually, for you folks who have not seen Quantum Leap yet, we have a quantum clip that we're going to take a look at right now. Watch your TV screen.
Floating in thin air. I'm a hologram. I am thin air. What do I do, Al? Okay, you lock your arms around the wires. Attaboy. Now, pump. Pump? Pump. Like a kid on a swing. Go ahead, pump. Go ahead. Okay. Now, take your hands, put your hands on the wire like this. That's it. Now, flip your butt off and hook it with your... That's very good. All right, now, you grab the bar in the middle with your hand. One at a time. Go ahead. One. Very good. Very good. Now, at the top of your swing, you bring your legs out and go and hook them with your knees. That's it. That's it. In. Okay, here we go. Now let go of the bar. I can't. What are you, a wimp? Yes. Let go of the bar.
Excellent.
That kid, Scott Bakula, is just great. I really enjoy working with him. Boy, he's wonderful.
Now, you've been in a lot of kind of offbeat roles. Do you look for them, or do they just find you?
They have just found me, but I've been very happy that they have. This one is offbeat, too. And I like that a lot. I really do.
As you look back at the arc of your movie career, do you have a favorite that you can pick out?
Well, my favorite role was Married to the Mob. Yeah.
You were excellent in it.
Well, thank you very much.
And one of my favorites of yours was Blue Velvet. Oh. One of my favorites of yours was Blue Velvet.
You too? Some strange people in here.
Of course, that was made by the Twin Peaks guy.
David Lynch, yes. Yeah.
So you must know who killed Laura Palmer.
No, I don't, and I know a bunch of people on that show, and they don't know.
Well, who shot Agent Cooper?
I have no idea.
Well, what's the deal with the
Maybe
donut?
it was Laura Palmer.
She's back. All right, well, what's next for you? You got a couple of movies coming out, don't you?
No, not really. I've got some movies that sort of disappeared on me. I don't know what's happening with them. I just did what do you call it, a cameo on an ABC movie of the week, miniseries, 4-hour thing called Son of the Morning Star with Gary Cole and Roseanne Arquette. And other than that, I go back to Quantum Leap in July and do some nice PR here and there and try and do environmental work.
Well, good for you, and good luck to you.
Well, thank you
And we
very
look forward to Quantum Leap Week coming
Leap
soon.
Week, yes.
To an NBC TV station near you. All right, Dean
Thank you,
Stockwell,
Steve.
thank you very much for stopping by. And we'll be right back with some more Hot Button.